What's up with it, man? Polo Sports Talking Entertainment here again with another one. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the page if you're not a member of this channel, and also hit the notifications so that you're able to get each and every one of my videos and all of my content. Okay. Now, LeBron James has re-aggravated this injury that he was struggling with, and that has kept him out. Now, before I get started, I want to give a couple of people shout out, or actually three people a shout out, man. First and foremost, got to give a shout out to Ticket TV or Pro Basketball Updates. Uh, if you haven't subbed to Ticket TV or Pro Basketball Updates, definitely go ahead and sub to his channel. Always bringing day to day basketball content. Also has other channels as well, and one of the LDBC generals too. Then also, I want to give a shout out to the brother Too Raw for TV or Too Raw for Sports. Uh, if you haven't subbed to Too Raw for TV, definitely go ahead and sub to his channel. He has multiple channels as well. He's a historian of the highest order, and also one of the brothers of the LDBC, one of the generals too as well. And then also, I want to give a shout out to Carcino for Life or One Crack News. He's also touched on the situation with LeBron. He actually touched on this situation with LeBron a long time ago and got very descriptive with this situation concerning LeBron too as well. So shout out to him too as well and sub to his channel too as well. Now let's get right to it, man. You know, these knick-knack injuries are expected with any player that has played a number of years in the NBA, and not just a number of years, but also at a high level too as well. Um, LeBron James has been in the league for 19 seasons. We know that. Unfortunately, we have individuals that think that LeBron can still do what he did in year 5 or year 10, and that's just not the case. Okay. Uh, LeBron has re-aggravated the abdominal injury that he did have. He seemed to have tweaked this when he played against the Pistons, and of course that was an anticipated matchup because of the, I'm not gonna say rivalry, but supposed beef between him and Isaiah Stewart. You know what I'm saying? I don't even really look at it as a beef either. It was a confrontation that happened and moved forward. You know what I'm saying? This isn't no sizzling rivalry or anything like that. Now, back in the days, it could have had because the Pistons and the Lakers actually did have a rivalry, and they used to get scuffles from time to time. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. Um, you know, LeBron did he's been logging some minutes this season. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when he has been playing, and he's been carrying a big load. Now, a lot of people have to understand that when when you have a player like LeBron who has pretty much been at the top of the mountain and performing at the top of the mountain for a very long time, and we're not just talking about just making the playoffs every now and then going home or anything like that. We're talking about mileage on your body. You know, these things that are happening right now, you should actually be clapping and cheering in the sense that damn, it's about time that he's starting to have some sort of show sign of not being durable or showing signs of age, because it is phenomenal that he's just now starting to get these little knick-knack injuries in comparison to a player like a AD who's suffered more 50 or more injuries throughout the course of his career, and him only being 28 years old. Um, you know, understanding that the more you understand that these players are not a video game player, or the more that you understand that these players are actually human and they're not robots, the better that you can understand that, okay, this guy cannot defeat Father Time. Okay. Now, that's not to say that he can't prolong it, and that's not to say that he can't be productive. But a lot of people are under this type of hypnosis to think that LeBron can carry a team and carry a big load game after game and back to back. And now with their new schedule that's getting ready to take place, and they're getting ready to embark on a tough schedule that's getting ready to come up. Raw, he mentioned this, and I gotta give him props on this, right? Uh, he said that he would advise, or some of the people had advised that he should sit down. I'm with him. I'm with him, and some people might disagree. Him sitting down actually will do more better than harm, if you understand what I'm saying, because he's able to get the rest that he's supposed to, and he's able to regather himself. Because if you notice, when he did sit down, guess what? Came back, hit the ground running. Now, he didn't quite play that good against Boston, but guess what? The very next one, he came back and put up 39. And as an older player, you're going to be up and down. It's just like with the case with Carmelo Anthony, and he can't continue to, because you're going to have back to backs. You're also going to be on the grind of a grueling schedule too, as well. What's up with it, God, MC? What's up with it, Big Who, and Slinky YT? I see you in the building. You said this could be the Lakers' downfall. LeBron finally getting an injury, but since he got to LA, you said LeBron can't carry a team in the playoffs if he's hurt we, every week. Now, let me address that. Uh, this type of injury it can keep you out anywhere from 1 to 2 months. Really, if you, and in essence, if you want to be technical, really 3 months, because you still have to come back and you got to get reacclimated, and you got to get your body rehab and everything, and get it back to its proper form. But with a player like LeBron, and the preparation that he puts in terms of his body, and also in terms of the fundamentals and things of that nature, then he'll be able to recover and be resilient than other people. Now, I'll give you a prime example. This situation that's taking place with Klay Thompson, he shouldn't, like, everybody, like, with Klay Thompson and James Wiseman, but really particularly Klay Thompson. As I told people, okay, people are getting mad, and they're like in shock that he's going to the G League to try to, get himself ready and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But see, when you see G League attached to a multiple time champion, and one of the greatest shooters to ever, hit the floor, then you're like, oh wow, he's going down there because he's not good enough, or he's going down there, because his skill set are diminishing, or he's not the same player. No, that's not the reason. Okay, the reason why he's going down there is because if you throw him in there, if you try to sit up there and throw Klay Thompson in the middle, well, almost in the middle of the season, we're at nearly a quarter of the season now, coming up on 2021 games. If you try to throw him out there, and then also, he's up in there running and stuff like that, and he's trying to log in these minutes and stuff like that, and these people have these expectations of what Klay Thompson used to be. He could wind up hurting himself. Then on top of that, he could also wind up hurting the team because, okay, now we got to figure out, okay, how are we going to work this guy into the rotation, things of that nature. And then next thing you know, okay, guys are unhappy. Guys are like, man, this guy, he hasn't played in 2 years and everything, and now all of a sudden, oh, I'm playing good, like such as Andrew Wiggins, who's been playing his ass off, playing really good. They have good chemistry and everything, especially with the damage that they've been doing to teams. They don't want to mess up any of that chemistry. So you throwing a guy in there, yes, we know what Klay Thompson brought to the table, but we don't know what he's going to look like against the competition now. And listen, if you haven't been paying attention to the NBA is speeding up and it's getting a little bit more physical. Not as physical, 80s or 90s or anything like that, but it's physical now. And you see a lot of guys are, starting to get, frustrated because they're not doing some of the things that they're accustomed to doing, like a James Harden, or they're not getting to the line as much, and they're not getting the calls that they normally get. And you've seen evidence of that because even Steph Curry, who rarely gets frustrated, got frustrated. So that's just an example when I'm talking about Klay Thompson and how this correlates to LeBron. You throwing a guy in there that's 36 years old, about to be 37 years old or whatnot, against young horses who could probably take pain or playing through pain and can recover a lot faster with their anatomy and their physiology of their body. Well, who you think is gonna hurt more once they get elbowed in the stomach, or who you think is gonna get up a lot quicker if they happen to get hit and then they end up falling on the ground or something like that, or somebody accidentally kicks them in the lower abdomen or something. You got to understand that. You said G League is an amazing live practice in baseball. Injury returning players go to Triple A. Salute to you, Marco Hinton. I see you in the building. Texas always represents. So what I'm saying is that everybody tries to sit here and rush it. Oh, just because, oh, well, they're in danger of the Lakers and not making it and all this other stuff. Look, other people have to step up. That's just plain and simple. And see, you don't understand that when a player like LeBron is going out, actually that's beneficial for the squad. It's sort of like, okay, Joel Embiid, my squad, right? He's starting to play and it's starting to sizzle up at that MVP level, But one thing that I give props for Joel Embiid doing, look, if he can't go, he's going to sit his ass down, plain and simple. And now he's starting to play. He's starting to sizzle up and get back to that form where he normally was. But see, you want your players to go through, okay, look, we don't have LeBron, but we need to depend on something else. Because like, what's his name? Just like Slinky just said, LeBron can't carry a team to the playoffs if he's hurt every week. Listen, he brought up a good point. You want those other guys to be able to step in. Carmelo Anthony was widely considered a superstar. Some people in many eyes still see him as super level superstar talent. Also, you got to take into consideration you have Russell Westbrook, who was brought in to be, I'm not going to say second fiddle to LeBron, but as they play a similar style of game in terms of how they do things, in terms of their energy and some of the other stuff that they do on the court. And I'm not saying that they play exactly the same, but there are a lot of similarities between LeBron and Westbrook or whatever. So he was brought in, and then of course AD. But you can't really rely on AD. Why? Why? Because this guy is not durable. He's not durable, and he's unreliable. We just have to put it up there. You said the squad needs to learn how to not play depending on LeBron. Anytime a team has a star player, they overly depend on two, not just the Lakers. Yeah, exactly. And see, now you're seeing that case, who I'm going to talk about a little bit later, with Kemba Walker. Listen, somebody had made a statement, and I had to really understand what they were saying. I want to say, I think it was Andover Sandlot. I think it was him. Shout out to Andover. He basically said that they ran Kimba to the ground while he was in Charlotte. A lot of that is true. A lot of that is true because they were depending on Kimba Walker for his shooting, and they were depending on him a lot for his offense, and it was also conducive to what took place at the end of games and pressure situations and stuff like that. But it really didn't get them nowhere. And he exerted so much energy over there, and it put him in a bad spot because then it took a toll on his body to where now he goes to Boston. Guess what? He's not he's not uh he's not reliable. Or he'll go to New York, and guess what? He's out of the rotation over there in in New York, and now they're looking to they're shopping for him elsewhere. And 9 times out of 10, he's just going to just bounce around and be a journeyman. It happens. But with a player like LeBron, he still adds value. The thing about it is that okay, he knows when to sit and when to do it, and he really has to do it at this stage of his career. But see, some of y'all still look at LeBron in the Miami days or the Cleveland days. Listen, LeBron has sprained his ankle. I've literally watched this guy. He'll sprain his ankle, tie his shoe up, and continue playing, just like when he did last year when he sprained his ankle. But then guess what? He was out a few days. You know, LeBron has been known to he'll sprain his ankle and then come back and he'll play the very next game and not even say nothing. But they'll say, okay, yeah, he's still nursing this or nursing that. Everybody's body is not durable like that. You said today the top two teams in the West will play each other. Okay, I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later, Marco. I already got something coming for that. But trust me, I'm gonna dive into that. I already got that. If you look at my notifications and you see what I'm about to talk about, I already got it. But this subject right here, this is what we're talking about right here in terms of LeBron, because everybody is is still living in this fantasy world as if LeBron can recover like he once did. We know that LeBron is we know that he's getting older and everything, but if the Lakers end up losing and having a subpar season and don't end up making it to as far as what people projected, they're not gonna care about him being hurt or and all this other stuff or anything. They're gonna ridicule him, regardless of that or not. So the best thing that y'all can do, I'm talking about the Lakers in this case, you got Malik Monk on that bench. Okay, you got Wayne Ellington on that bench. You have Avery Bradley on that bench. You got Carmelo Anthony on that bench. These guys just have to step up. And they have to step up not just with the offense or anything. They have to step up defensively. And this is another thing too. This is what Ticket had touched on, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. Stop thinking that Trevor Ariza is going to come in and fill a void like he did when he was with the early days with Kobe and those championships. Stop thinking that. Listen, I like Trevor Ariza. You said LeBron did play triple OT versus the Kings, then later versus the Pistons. Yeah, I understand that. I understand that, but that's what I'm saying. He can only do so much. But you see what's conducive of that, big country. You know what I'm saying? You see what happens now. It had it been earlier in his career, he would have been able to bounce back. But as you get older, man, those aches and those pains, you getting up out of bed, it's harder and harder each day. And some people fight it, some people don't show it, some people have the mental fortitude to be able to handle that type of pain, and others don't. But everybody's not an Iron Man like a LeBron or like a Kevin Willis or like even Kareem was. You know, um, but just to get back to what I'm saying, this is another example too. Like Kevin Garnett, he said once that as he gets older, it became harder to do some of the things that you wanted to do, such as going to practice, such as dealing with injuries, the aches and the pains, and the knick-knack things. People forget KG doesn't get credit for being an Iron Man, but KG was an Iron Man too. And KG would play through a lot of pain, a lot of injuries and stuff like that. You know, your body can only take so much, but people have the expectation of your body being, you know, like a super mutant or an Avenger when you're in year 19, when you've logged a lot of minutes, and people think that you could still play an 82 game season without any trouble, and it just doesn't work like that. It just does not work like that. So we have to come to our senses. But do I believe that the Lakers could hold up against some of the other teams? Yeah, I do think they could. It's just going to take a lot of effort. That's just what it is. We already know the Lakers situation and everything. And then on top of that, we also have to look at this too. LeBron said that he's not concerned with it, but he knows his body better than anybody else. But he's not going to tell anybody. He's not going to give that indication that, oh yeah, well, I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling that way, because then the media is going to be all on that, and they're going to try to eat him alive and push a narrative and everything like that. And even though they should be talking about the teams that Marco Hinton just mentioned, which is the Suns and the Warriors, guess what? They still somehow want to talk about the Lakers. They still want to find some way to include them because of the stars that are on there. Everybody wants to sit here and try to gravitate towards just one team, or one player or something like that, and there's other teams that need to be talked about. And some people get offended when I don't talk about LeBron every single day, or I don't talk about one player every single day. No, I'm not going to do that. That, to me, that really that's boredom to me. You know what I'm saying? But to talk about you know, one person all the time, every single minute of the day. We've seen, enough of what to know about that particular player. Let's talk about some of these new guys. You know, like for instance, a lot of y'all don't even know that. Okay, uh, for instance, Vucevic, you'd be like Skip Bayless. Nah, man. You know, in Skip Bayless's case, it would be MJ, and I love MJ too, but I'm not going to talk about him every day. Yeah, these guys they're enjoyable players to watch and everything, but man, come on, there's other teams that are doing really great. Let's talk about the awesome job that Chicago's doing. Let's talk about you know the awesome job that the Wizards have done. Let's talk about some of these other young and up coming stars that are doing pretty good. But they still like to talk about even the guys that are really really struggling or whatever. They still like to give them their just due. You know, but that's marketing, and that's the narrative that they try to push. They're not talking about the second best team in the NBA in Phoenix. Rarely have anything to say about them. You know why? Because it kind of disgusts them to talk about a team like Phoenix. But that, like I said, that's just more fuel to the fire. And some people don't want to hear that, but it's an emotional attachment that they have. They make shocking statements, staying on narrative instead of actually being sports journalists. Well, I don't even like to call them sports journalists. Matter of fact, we got better journalists in the LDBC than the guys that are sitting up there on ESPN or Fox. There's guys that'll checkmate the shit out of every guy on that panel, when you talk about undisputed, or when you talk about a first take, or when you talk about first and 10, or first down, or some of these others, even on the NFL network. you know but if you're looking for me to get on here and regurgitate stupid ass, retarded ass talking points that you could tell that they've already tried to rehearse and tried to say just so that they can go ahead and sound different and stuff, man, this isn't the channel for you, because I'm not going to get up here and try to fake Yale, fake Yale, or fake Harvard, or fake Ivy League school, any type of bullshit. I'm going to give you the real. And that's why people do come to the LDBC. You know, Listen, you could say what you want and you could get mad at me. Yes, LeBron is playing phenomenal. Okay. He's playing phenomenal, but he's not the same player that he was in terms of what his recovery and him being able to bounce back, you know, right, right away. It's just not going to happen like that. What's up, TLB? You said, exactly, Paul. It's 30 teams, 450 players, and a lot of different topics. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, we want to talk about, let's talk about, some of these other guys that aren't getting the credit, but I'm not going to get on here and be like, oh man, F LeBron, I don't want to talk about him. No, I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because he is a part of the game. But at the same token, let's see, let's see how the Lakers are going to respond in the midst of this adversity. because there might be something else that might take place too. There might be another situation that might unfold, and we have to understand that. LeBron, as well as he's been playing and everything, he can only do so much, and these guys have to carry the load. Westbrook got to step up. He's got to play better. Carmelo got to step up, and he has to play better. Uh, Frank Vogel, even though I've defended Frank Vogel, he's got to he's got to amplify his further amplify his coaching with the pieces that he has. And for you silly people that think that Trevor Ariza is going to come in and be have an impact, no, Trevor Ariza is going to have an impact on the locker room. Trevor Ariza is going to have an impact in terms of picking his brain, because you like it or not, he's still a champion. He's still a champion. So he's been in the trenches, and he's been in the trenches with one of the God rest his soul, one of the best players of all time. So he was able to pick up a lot of, or hopefully he was able to pick up a lot of those essentials from a player like the Mamba. And when you've been at war with a player like Mamba or whatever, man, you have the ultimate respect. However, let's put things in its proper perspective. Trevor Ariza is not a LeBron. Trevor Ariza is not a Karl Malone where he can stay. He was at a superstar status or anything for a long period of time and still being able to produce like that. He's just not. And when he was in Miami, yeah, he was still running up and down the court, but it wasn't the Lakers back in the days in the early, well, I say '09 Lakers. He's not that anymore. You know, he can be valuable just like what Udonis Haslam is. And if you're gonna use him to inspire. Shoot, just seeing a guy like Udonis Haslam at 41 years old still running up and down the floor, you don't know how many people get inspired by that type of thing. Like they're like, damn, he's 41, but I'm 20. I'm like 21 or 22 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Man, and he's up in here running, jumping, still doing that. Man, what am I doing? You know? And then you'll be like, man, could you imagine if he was this age or that age? So y'all let me know what you think, man. Do you think that the Lakers are capable of withstanding a grueling schedule, without LeBron? Do you think that they'll be able to handle the rigors if LeBron was to sit out? Because this is who they have. Let me say this too before I go. You know, they have, of course, they got the Kings tonight. Then they have the Lakers. They got the. I mean, sorry about that. They have the Clippers. They have the Celtics. Then they have the Grizzlies, Thunder, Magic. They got the Mavericks. They got the Timberwolves. They got the Bulls. They got Phoenix. They got San Antonio. And they got Brooklyn on Christmas. You know, they got it. They really have a tough schedule coming up these next couple of weeks, and that's even before Christmas. Because some people might look at the Clippers, even though they got ran out of the building by Golden State, they're still a threat. and they're playing better than the Lakers. And then, I know the Celtics have been struggling, but you know, they beat the Lakers. They proven that they could beat them. So y'all let me know what you think. Leave your comments, like this video, share it, subscribe, hit the notifications, and tune in this Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. I'll get at y'all later.